All right, all right, all right. Welcome in Toilets to Titles, episode number 176. We're talking rookies, man. The NFL draft is in our rear view mirror. A few days ago, I sat in this very chair, in this very spot, with my guy, Nino Brown. The man below is Boomer. Jared Gray was out there in Kansas City, and things were happening. And the whole, the title tribe was repping in full effect. And we covered the NFL draft. We actually absolutely dominated the NFL draft. We had our rookie rankings set up, our pre-draft rankings, and now, we're rolling fully. There was no hesitation. And it took, Nino, I woke up one morning, he's like, hey, rookie rankings. I was like, all right, let's do it. And then now, a day later, we have everything ranked. We are ready. We are ready for rookie draft season. We're ready to get you ready for rookie draft season. So let me introduce my co-host this evening, Mr. Nino Brown at Nino Brown _T2T. Nino, what's cooking?
Oh, I'm excited for this one. My guy's back from Kansas City. Had a little mini dream vacation for a day. 24-hour break. Got it in with I'd have to say at least half the NFL crowd, like fan base crowd. I got pictures from all these fan base he was in. He must be getting some looks. Boom, you must be getting some looks from people like, who is this guy and what is he doing? But I'm excited to hear it all. So without further ado, speak to us, big fella.
Absolutely amazing time. Literally 10 hours on the road back and forth within 24 hours. Got some good barbecue, went there, did not mess around, checked in my hotel, was in there. I was literally at the hotel for 22 minutes. I said, my goal is I got to be out by Jordan. Like, I got 23 minutes, let's go. So 22 minutes, I walked out the door, went straight to the stadium, started grabbing all my stuff, sent coach and the guys in the guild chat, the title tribe, a photo saying, hey, boots on ground, let's get rolling. It was crazy. The craziest look I got is right after the first pick. Obviously, I'm live with the guys. I was muted on purpose because it was absolute pandemonium, there. So I'm just live with the guys, had my thing up, and the head ticket salesperson for the Carolina Panthers was like, what are you doing? Like, who are you? I'm like, hey, T2T, it's where we gonna be. So so that was the one, like, hey, what are you doing here? Besides that, you already know how we do. We front and center for everything. As many people as I could get, the super fans, as we would say, that get to go to the NFL draft. Try to take a video with them. I was live for about 30 minutes and just sent it all to Nino and dumped him, by the end of the night and the next morning. Just, I don't know how photos and videos I sent, but it was an amazing experience. It was crazy. It was a lot more walking than I ever thought I'd do. I thought I did a lot of walking at, the Senior Bowl or the Combine. The Combine, we 20,000 steps first day. I beat that by 12,000, 32,000.
Eric Froton told us about you walking at the Combine.
Yeah, I did not mess around. I was everywhere. But the draft was worth 32,000 steps. So I will tell you that I was whipped by the end of it. So wouldn't change the experience for anything. You already know how we do. We're places maybe we shouldn't have been, but we got there anyway because, hey, we belong. So that's what I'm there for.
That's what I was going to say, man. Places we might not should have been right now, but places that we belong. And there's a little bit of a difference, and there's a line. And that line's going to start tilting in the other direction.
I was swimming in that line, bro.
Yeah. I'm excited. So we're getting some lanyards made up because we're doing a lot of work. We're getting press passes, all sorts of things. Senior Bowl credentials. Jared, you were at the Combine, the NFL draft, and over the next year, we're already starting to look forward to year 2 of doing all these things. And it's going to be here before you know it. But we're also, down. KT was in Maryland with Mike, and, we get I think Moon was at Georgia Tech, Nino's at Brown, Boston College. I'm up at West Point, and Jared, I'm sure you're going to be over at Oklahoma. So we get around. So we're going to get some lanyards made up. And what I want to see behind you in the future, I want to see a pin put on that wall. And I want to see all the different credentials you've had, because you have definitely been carrying the flag, and it's been awesome to see. I mean, you're the right person.
I thought about that. I got to do that. I'll start putting them on the wall. It's a good idea.
I want to see it, man. Those are, you got skins on the wall. Right. And then when people start to question whether or not, hey, you're not in the right spot, be like, show them a photo. Look, This ain't my first rodeo, man. I've been here. But hey, Title Tribe, I want to let you know what we're discussing this evening. So we just talked about some scenes from the NFL draft. We're going to be talking about our way too early Dynasty Fantasy Football rookie rankings. We're going to be talking about quarterback. We're going to be talking about running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. You're going to want to make sure you stay tuned to the end because this guy, Jared Boomer, he's going to tell you all about his way too early IDP ranking. It's one thing, everybody and their mother is trying to come up with rookie rankings. That doesn't mean they know what they're talking about. So be careful what you listen to, who you listen to, and what you read. Be careful. I mean, because we go at it. I mean, me and Nino, like we even question each other. You know what I'm saying? So this ain't like a free ride, right? This is we take pride in what we do. But you're gonna want to stay tuned till the end because we have a master IDP expert with us. And I'm not seeing much IDP talk yet. So it's still kind of light out there. And you're going to get an early glimpse at where these players stand. So no matter how you're watching, we greatly appreciate it. If you're on the YouTube, hit the like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff helps us out. Go check out the CFB Nation. That's our sister network. If you're watching at home, you see the logos at the top. Nino made this overlay, which is absolutely beautiful. The titles logo. You see the T2T network logo. You see the CFB Nation logo. We ride together. We roll together. We dominate together. And you're going to want to check them out as well because you're going to see these faces, all three of these faces, over on that YouTube channel, covering a lot of content. If you have Apple Podcasts, even if you're not listening to the audio version, go ahead, throw us a 5-star review. That'll get you in the Frankenstein Listener League, which we're going to be starting to talk about in the next few weeks and get in the Gilded Chat because we got George Reed, we got Jason, all of them. What they're doing is they're setting up rookie mocks, dynasty mocks, all sorts of mocks. We got over 120 people in there. We fill mocks within minutes. If you want to get in there and mock with good people and learn some things or two and hear some good NFL chatter, you were going to want to get into that. So, Nino, I'm going to pass it over to you. Let's talk some quarterbacks. Yeah, man, let's talk some quarterbacks. We got our top 10s. We're going to start with 5. If you want to see all of these, and if you're not sure if you heard us correctly, toiletstotitles.com, under the Fantasy Football tab, under the Dynasty Rookie Rankings tab, you will see our complete list. But today we're going to talk about some specific numbers. So why don't we start with quarterbacks?
I'm going to start from 10 to 6. I'll do that, and then we'll do 5 and up. Before we get there, though, you had a nice slogan. I think we should kind of see if we can, lock this in, like mocking minutes. Like that's just something that we need to
let's do
lock that in so nobody can steal that from us. And let's just run with that mocking minutes. That's like a fantasy slogan for sure.
Mocks. We're gonna have to go back and listen to it to see mocks and minutes. I'm gonna. Hey, if you're watching, Dino, Justin, you are actually. So we got people watching this who are members of Toilets to Titles, or they're not, and they're just in the Gilded Chat. You go ahead and you throw that in the mock draft laboratory so we don't forget. But go ahead, my guy.
All right. So for me, I'm going to start at the bottom. I got Clayton Tune at 10 at Arizona. 9, I got Jake Haener, New Orleans Saints. 8, I got Aiden O'Connell, Las Vegas Raiders. 7, I got DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson at the Cleveland Browns. And at 6, I got Spencer Bennett to the Rams. Now, we spoke a little bit right before we get on here about Tune in Arizona. And I think that's something to bring up. Murray's definitely not playing before week 6. Yeah, if you got money not to bet you, and they're giving you odds on that, I would go put some money on that. That's sprinkles, because that's something I don't think it's going to happen. Plus, Colt McCoy's coming back from an injury. He's not going to be ready off rip. They're saying that David Blau was who they had penciled in before the draft to be the starter, week 1. I think Clayton Tune with a good camp could be your starter. And if the ship is not going well, they might not rush Murray back, and they might just ride it out in a tank for Caleb train, and Tune could play the whole year. So there's an opportunity, and then you could just flip him to somebody, right, and reap the benefits back later on, because we're talking dynasty here. So that's a guy. Haener this year, I don't know. Aiden O'Connell is the name that I really like. You got Jimmy G over there on a team-friendly deal. It's kind of like a bridge gap guy, right? You also got Stidham. So it's like New England Patriots 2.0. I don't know if those are your future there. I know that what's that?
Stidham's in Denver.
Who? Stidham? Stidham's in Vegas, buddy. He's the backup. Jared Stidham?
Went to Denver.
I'll look it up. Keep going.
I'm pretty sure Jared
I'll fact check.
It's 2.0. I'm pretty sure. So those guys, I don't foresee being the future. And they were high on Aiden O'Connell. They liked him. They were trading up to get him if they needed to. I think this is a guy that could take over for the Raiders going down the pipeline in a year or two. So there's a guy to look out for. DTR is another name I really like. He went into the perfect system, right? He is like a shell. He's a mirror image, the young Quan of Deshaun Watson. Game's the same, similar, running, passing, strong arm, right? Had a good year at UCLA coming out of the Pac-12 this year. If he gets injured, I could see DTR get in there and start rolling. If for some reason things don't work out, I know there's a lot of guaranteed money in there, but they have a guy. So Boomer, you were right. I'm sorry. Stidham is in Denver. I'll eat that one. Who's the backup over there?
I don't get too much. So I mean, I barely ever get you. So I mean,
who knows? Who knows who's the backup behind Jimmy G? But I'm with you. We're very close on Aiden O'Connell. You have him 8. I have him 7. We're very close.
Yeah.
But I wanted to touch on Clayton Tune. So we both have him 10, but he could start this year.
Yeah.
And if he starts and he plays well, so there's few things that could happen. One, he starts, he plays well. They don't want to deal with the headache. Kyler Murray can't stay healthy. They move on. 2, he starts, he plays well. They don't win games. That'd be hard. So the odds aren't. I'm not saying these are
a lot of money.
I'm just saying. Let's think about possible scenarios. I can't tell you like the outcomes. I'm not, Vision from the Avengers, but you know what I mean? So it's like that's an outcome. Another possible outcome is, let's say Murray doesn't come back for 6 to 8 weeks. They stink. Tune starts. He does well, but they get a high pick. They take a quarterback, but Tune has value. And now they could ship him. He kind of like the Brock Purdy thing.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Reap on your benefits. It's Dynasty. Hey, look, Bigby says, I knew it was 2.0.
Yeah.
It was Hoyer and not Stidham. So I was still in the Patriots.
It's one of those McDaniels, one of those McDaniels. So Tune is interesting. And also we interviewed him at the Senior Bowl, and he's awesome, dude.
Hey, another guy I didn't get to this real quick is it's Stetson Bennett. Like Stafford isn't there forever, right? And from what I'm reading, they were locked in on Bennett. Like if they were nervous someone was going to take their guy, they were willing to go up early to get him because, shout out Jake, the guy. I'm going to mess up his name, Jake E. So I'm going to leave it at that.
Alan Bogan, I believe.
Yes. He said the day after the national championship, and I put this on Twitter. The day after, he went out and said, "This is not the last time that you will see Stetson Bennett in SoFi Stadium." And I actually think it's a good pick there. And if he can learn. This is going to be the thing. Is he a product of Georgia and just being there forever? Or can he, be a student of the game and fill in there? You got a perfect landing spot. McVay, Stafford, 1 year and take over the reins. This is a guy in Dynasty that could be cheap.
And we talked about Moxie before the show, and that kind of is going to lead me to talking about Jake Haener. But Stetson Bennett has Moxie, and we saw the LA Rams when Baker Mayfield came in. I'm not comparing Stetson. I just think he's got that spunk that Baker brings. And it completely turned that team around. Like that Baker Mayfield energy, that Rams team looked a lot different. I don't care. Like they were injured. So you can't expect them to be world beaters and go win playoff games, but they looked like a team possessed when Mayfield was out there. And that is not Stafford. Stafford is like mama's boy, calm, cool, collected. I'm sorry. And that's not a shot.
Maybe now.
Yeah.
And Detroit, he had a little more juice.
But he's a fist pumper. Like one of those guys. Like
as KT says, bravado, right?
Yeah, like this guy is like a shit eater and not a glass eater. You know what I mean? You've heard these sayings before. You know what I'm talking about.
I hear you. Eat nails. I got you.
Yeah. So, and I think the Rams, man, if he gets in there and they win a game or two, and let's say Stafford's elbow doesn't look good and he's not Stafford of old, I wouldn't be surprised if he wins the team over.
Right. And his style of play, right? He can throw the ball deep. It's not something he can do on the regular, but he's got guys in play that can move the ball. Cup can move the ball, right?
And now Nakua. They got two's
Puka,
like,
but you also have Tutu Atwell who you can get the ball in 5 yards. It can turn up to 35 yards, right? Higbee's still there at tight end. He's your safety blanket. Right. Cam Akers is there. Zach Evans is in there. I think that's a good combo. Zach Evans and Cam Akers. So it's a possibility. We're talking dynasty, so it may not be now. We're talking about maybe a year from now.
And I have him 8, and you have him 6. So I'm not but I also wouldn't be surprised. But that's kind of how I feel about Haener.
I'm not a Stetson guy, you know that. So for me to have him there, the probabilities,
So we're basically close. So I'm only going to mention my 6. I have Haener 6. You have Haener 9. You have Bennett 6. I have Bennett 8. So I think I just think kind of some of that same moxie and bravado. I don't think he's an elite quarterback, but He won everybody over at the Senior Bowl. We didn't see it. We watched all the practices. There was no quarterback there and I'm not a quarterback guru. I don't claim to be, but there was no quarterback there that wowed me. But there are people there who know a lot more than I do and have watched a lot more quarterbacks than I do who were wowed by Haener. And he's kind of got that size thing. He's got that bravado thing. He's down there in New Orleans. New Orleans has been desperate for a quarterback. They got some good weapons. Chris Olave is a dude. They brought in Kendry Miller now, right? So, and now, who knows what's going to happen with Alvin Kamara.
A.T. Perry's over there as well, the big guy. So, but, I like it. I get it. The Haener's got that thing, like you said, that Baker swag type to him. You know what I mean? He might be a little bit quieter than Baker, but he has it. Although when Boomer asked him a question about what does he bring to the thing, he says he's a winner, right? That doesn't scream Baker Mayfield to you. I don't know what does.
Right.
But they just gave the bag to David Carr for a few years, right?
Right.
So I'm looking at down the line, when does it expire? And I'm looking at the QB class of Arch, right? Dante Moore. Like those guys would be available then. Jackson Arnold, like, is Haener is better than them? I don't know if he's better than them right now. You know what I'm saying? That's not a knock to anybody.
He's not. Right.
So I think he's a emergency guy. Like like I said, I think he might give a career backup. But if Carr goes down or Carr starts being vanilla Carr like he happens to do when he was with Vegas, he could get opportunities.
Right.
And he could be a guy that gets you a reward where you flip him to somebody who's a QB in a week or two in Dynasty. And now you got a second-round pick back to go get somebody else.
That's what it's all about. It's all about value. So I'm going to run through my top 5.
Yeah.
And then you can run through your top 5. I got AR first. And the reason I got AR 1 is I think regardless, and this ain't, because Jared came on and we had a bet. This is the way I run my dynasty teams is and with quarterbacks and superflex, it's all about value. And I think the ceiling is higher with Richardson just because the way he plays. But guys like him, I flip them in August. I don't wait to see if I'm right. I take him. I wait till he has a few training camp clips where and it's bit me in the ass before. I've moved Jalen Hurts. All right. I moved him. Okay.
My guy.
But Anthony Richardson is a guy that I am going to take. I am going to wait till the training camp buzz comes out. And I am going to hold somebody for ransom. And that's what I mean by value. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that with Stroud because Houston's a disaster until it isn't. Okay. We could see them starting to get it right. I like DeMeco Ryans. But when you're trying to sell something to somebody, they're going to say to you, and then Carolina's a little scary. So I think Richardson, it's cha-ching, like Scrooge McDuck. Like you're going to see the money in the eyes. So then I got CJ Stroud. Then I got Bryce Young. Then I got Hendon Hooker. I like him in Detroit, and I got him and Levis close. I got them real close. But the reason I got Hooker a little higher is I like that he's going to be in a controlled environment for 8 games a year. I like being in Detroit, being in a dome. I don't know what the future is for Jameson Williams. But if let's say this is just kind of a thing, after this, he's healthy. They got that field stretcher. They got that dynamic athlete with the ball in his hands. And you could see them running a little bit of a running gun offense with Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield. That was weird. I don't really.
I think they knew they were moving on from Swift.
But still,
I asked Nino. I said, watch out, man. Swift is gone. Yeah. And I told before the draft, I said, Swift is gone.
But how about them moving him?
How did they let him go to Philly?
But after they took the pick, why wouldn't you move him? Because you got to think maybe it was already agreed upon. But if I'm Philadelphia and you took Gibbs, I'm not giving you anything of value for Swift.
Why?
Why wouldn't I? Because now you're kind of against the gun. You just took a running back at 12.
Yeah, but they needed a running back, right?
But I'm just saying.
I get what you're saying.
They lost a little leverage.
Pin him to the wall. I got
They lost a little leverage.
I don't know. It could have been agreed upon before. That could have been the plan the whole time, and that's why they took him. The buzz was Gibbs was going. If they didn't take him, I think he was going to fall within the next pick or two. That Jared was boots on the ground. I was
when did that start? The
Giants,
I didn't hear anything,
right?
Really?
The Giants started.
Yeah. So Brian, the Giants brought up the word hey, we were like him, and I talked to Nino about it on my drive up. The crazy thing, 4.5 hours, I listened to no music. I literally was, NFL draft, fantasy football, the entire drive. Here's what I'm hearing. I'm messaging Nino. I'm talking to text. I'm just pushing buttons on my truck. Text Nino this. Text the guys this. And then I realized I'm like, man, I'm already in Joplin, and then boom, I'm already, I'm 20 minutes away. I'm like, man, this is crazy. I just kept going, and yeah, the Giants thing was a big talk right away. And then when I heard that, and then I was like, man, I already told you I think Swift's gone. What if it's Swift is leaving and Gibbs is coming? Because the Giants have pushed the button at this point.
I want to know, like, if the Giants was ready to, like, if they could have made the butt of the roll to go up there and get him, where was Barkley going? Because he was gone, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's why it didn't happen, because someone didn't bite on the Barkley deal, or they weren't, showing enough ducats to him, in value back. Because, bro, Gibbs there with what they have as a team, especially with Waller, right? Like, Waller should spread the low end stuff. Gibbs can just you have lanes, like it would work out well. But you'd have to get your return on your dollar on Barkley. And
yeah, it just really depends, because the people that really wanted him were in the division. So they weren't doing that.
Yeah,
so,
right. Yeah, I get you.
Hey, well, we got running backs coming up. So why don't you go through your top 5 quarterbacks,
All right.
one or two of them that stick out, then we'll move on to running backs. I got questions about other running backs, and that it's affecting my rankings. And one of them being Derrick Henry. I need to know.
I knew it was coming. You have to, right? You just no. I'm not. We'll go there in a minute. I got Hendon Hooker at 5. And now I actually might switch him with Stetson Bennett for the simple reason I'm hearing that Goff could get an extension.
Really?
So if Goff gets an extension, I think Stetson Bennett has more of an opportunity in Dynasty to get value instantly. So he's there. Levis at 4, AR at 3, Bryce Young at 2, and CJ Stroud at 1. Now you would look at depth charts here, and you would think, all right, Carolina's got a better offense, right? They got Mingo, they got Chalk, they got Thielen, they got Laviska Shenault, and they got Miles Sanders. And then you look over at Houston, right? They drafted a couple guys, Tank Dell, they brought in Xavier Hutchinson. They have Mechie, the third, coming in, Nico Collins, Bobby Trees. I've already told you, smoked. So he's just a body. But he is a veteran who can teach these young guys. Like, I think he can have a good presence on Tank Dell. The fact that CJ Stroud called Tank Dell, they were working out after the combine together, right? Built a relationship. Called Dell after he got picked because Dell texted him and says, yo, Dell goes, tell him to come get me. CJ said, I got you. Right before the pick happened, they FaceTime. CJ said, I told them I want my man. They're coming to get you. They went out and got him. That's already chemistry, right? So they already got that locked in. If Mechie's fully healthy, ooh, bro, those two, never mind whatever, Hutchinson could bring you.
I think Nico's decent. I think Nico's a good 3.
I think Nico's a good 3. I think they brought him in to be a 1, and he wasn't that. So I have to temper back expectations.
But he's a good 3.
Yeah,
like,
he is a good 3.
I think as an option for Stroud,
50-50 balls he's good at, right? That's what he did in Michigan. So I'm vibing with that. And then with AR, my problem I have is kind of like the people around him. Pittman's a dog. I don't trust Cincinnati receivers, and that's not a knock to you, Coach, because I know you liked, Scott coming out of there and Tucker. Pierce kind of had a lot of hype with Ritter, and really couldn't catch on, and he had the opportunity to catch on there last year, and it didn't happen. And then Downs I like, and then after that it's kind of like piecework. Can McKenzie steal the early season work from Downs? Probably, because they're similar players, right? They go across the middle, they're possession guys, they eat.
Downs a dog.
But my thing is, I hear everybody saying is Stetson can develop. Outside of Jalen Hurts, who has he developed like that, though, right? And is Jalen Hurts the outlier? Is it a one and done? Is it because Jalen Hurts is that much more focused and talented than AR? Because in college, there was no 33% passing for games. There was no below 50%. Even when he lost his job, right? He was still passing for over 50%. He went down to Oklahoma and just became Superman, right? He got unlocked. The cheat code became ding, ate the power-up mushroom, and all of a sudden dude was Super Mario out there spitting fireballs to everybody. So I don't see that in AR. I didn't see any of that get unlocked. I saw a couple of super athletic plays, right? I saw a couple of passes deep, but were any of those passes like a CJ Stroud where he got his guy open, or was it the guy was blowing coverage and he was wide open and AR made the throw, right? I get the pocket passing nowadays doesn't exist, especially in fantasy, right? NFL's switched over. It's a mobility factor. Even if it's just mobile in the pocket to extend plays, you have to be that. AR is that. But is the fact that the negative plays are going to overtake the positive plays in succession? Like, are you going to, you could have a week he has 30, but are you going to have 4 or 5 weeks where it's like 10? Is the floor going to be more a thing than the ceiling? And right now, and what's set up and what I've seen and what he's walking into, I see him as a running team. I know they want to get him out there often and early, but it could be short, dunking things. He might only be throwing the ball 15 to 17 times a game. So I don't know. I'm with you. Let the hype go, sell, reap your benefits, go get somebody else.
I mean, talking about trust, like I don't trust the Colts at all. The Colts had a better roster than the Texans last year. If you put roster to roster, the Colts should have been so much more successful than the Texans last year. So that being said, that means I think the Colts were even more of a dumpster fire than the Texans, given how talented the roster is. So on that hand, I don't trust the Colts at all. And I'm sorry, Justin. I know they brought in a new coach, but you got Jonathan Taylor. Michael Pittman's a good player. You got, Darius Leonard goes down. You have two other linebackers who step up and are killing it, crushing it. Stephon Gilmore was there last year. He was talented. You got DeForest Buckner in the middle. They got guys who can play. And it just was a complete disaster. So, I mean, I could see, I don't trust them either. No. But these are, all these teams are picking high for a reason.
Yeah. So, and they've been trying to get a guy, right? Obviously, they haven't had the draft capital up there to get him because they gave it up for Wentz, right? And then they had Philip Rivers. They've been kind of going down that old man river to try and find a guy, maybe put the fishing line out and get a guppy, right?
Is that on purpose, that punt? Going down, because they brought in Rivers.
You see where I was going? I'm glad you caught it. They were going for a guppy or a bass and pulling up boots, and in bicycle tires. So I don't know. I haven't been an AI guy. I don't want people to think, oh, he's riding, he's beating the same drum. It's just, I don't think that was the perfect spot for him. I don't know if there was a perfect spot. I think Baltimore was the perfect spot if they were willing to wait on their investment 2 years. And they just gave a 5-year deal to Lamar. So that's out the window.
I would like to see him in Atlanta. Like Atlanta would
I think they really like Riddle. From what I read,
we're going to find out. We're going to find out if the kid can play.
Yeah. First of all, I'm going to say this now.
Say it. Plant your flag.
If people are gonna do that, right, about Ritter, they better be able to back it up and say the same thing with like, whoa, look at the weapons they gave him, like Fields had. Because outside of Pitts and Drake London, what does he have, bro?
But
Matt Collins is wide receiver too?
Fields has nobody on the squad that can even hold the jock strap of Kyle Pitts and
Cole Kmet's not like that guy, but Darryl Mooney, right?
Darn it, he's not Drake London.
No, he's a tier down. I'll give him a tier down from Drake London, right? But
2 tiers.
I know those guys should be way better because a lot of the targets them were uncatchable last year. But it's like they just have those guys, so they're gonna key up on Pitts in London. Matt Collins is a guy you trust.
People are also giving up on Fields.
Right. Well, and I don't know. It's just it should be in the same class of talk, and it shouldn't be like, okay.
Hey, Drake May's gonna look good in a Falcons uniform next year.
Or Caleb. I think the Cardinals, though, they got the capital.
Let's just hit the running backs. Let's go to the running backs.
We could do this again. Same place, same time, very soon. But let's talk running backs. You want to start or you want me to start?
I started QB, so you run with this one.
So I'm just going to go top 5 running backs because this is where, the discussion. We both got Bijan. So I got Bijan, Atlanta Falcons 1, Jahmyr Gibbs, Detroit Lions 2, Devon Achane, number 3, Miami Dolphins. And the reason I like him is I just think the San Francisco 49ers, when McDaniels was there and back when Shanahan was there, they always made it work with anybody. And they never really brought in like a super talented back, until now they had Christian McCaffrey and everybody worked. And I just think the level of, Raheem Mostert's a freak athlete. I just think Devon Achane, freak athlete. He can also line up outside. He can catch the football. It's like, they're at a shooting range, and they're shooting like a regular gun and they bring in like a really nice gun. So they're able to get the job done. But now they got something. I don't know if that's the best analogy. I came up with that on the spot. That was kind of one of my, if I had like a list of worst ones I've ever made, we could put that on that list.
If they ran a relay, would they have the fastest relay? Because man, that team is fast now.
Yeah, they would probably be fast. I mean, most of it was good. Like they got to be close, right? Most are fully healthy with no injury.
Does Achane have an injury history? I don't think so, right?
No, I don't think so. I think
so. That's another thing. Like Mostert has that, and
the whole team does. All their running backs do.
and I just envision Waddle and Hill going deep, safeties, linebackers dropping.
Yeah.
A-Chain getting through the first level and just gone. So I love the upside there. Kendry Miller, I got in 4 in New Orleans, and this depends. Kamara is my favorite running back in the NFL. Like over the last decade, I loved him, man. Like so, I don't think he's not what he was, but when he was in his I loved watching. I loved Marshall Faulk growing up, LaDainian Tomlinson. I just like guys.
It was
like
just
him.
no curve. He just went bang.
Yeah, but his he won me some money in fantasy.
No, he was a dude. He's a predator. He's a dude. Like he was a dude.
But now, was it the trouble in Vegas? Was it the injury? But I'm saying, like, what led to him falling off last year? Can he rebound, or was it skill? Like, there's factors that I don't know what it is, but Kendry Miller is going to take the touches even if Kamara gets shipped, which could happen. And then I got Tajay Spears at Tennessee Titans, and I don't know. You mentioned, and I'm going to let you make your argument because I get it. So you know what? I'm not gonna rebut your argument. I'm going to just make my argument. And my argument is, I've seen guys come into Carolina the last 2 years when Henry's been hurt, just Jags like Dante Foreman and just guys come up, and I can't even name all of them, and do well in that rushing scheme, and usually with running backs. How many of them make it to that next contract? So I'm thinking 3 to 5 year window. If it's a big if either Henry is gone, if Henry gets hurt, like I think Henry's there 1 year max. He's you think he's gone, or you think he's there long term? Boom, long term.
Yeah. So I love, obviously, one of my favorite running backs in the league. I think he's fantasy football wise. He's consistent. However, I think somebody's going to get injured during the season. I hate to worry about injuries and something like that. He's getting shipped during the.
Oh, so you think he's gone?
Yeah, okay. Trade. Yeah.
So I just think Spears, he might not be able to handle the touches, but we've seen him go the distance. We've seen him go the distance. Well, you're making my argument for me. I'm trying not to go too heavy on it.
That's all right.
Yeah, but I think the ceiling is high. The floor is low, given the injury history and given Derrick Henry being there. But let's say he doesn't get 20 touches. He could take 12 touches. And then also think about the offense that's around him. Who's getting touches in Tennessee like that? And then that also might hurt him because maybe he has 2 or 3 weeks where he goes off. Now the defense is going to be focused on him, and it's going to be harder for him to go off. But who is getting touches in Tennessee? Right, it's a disaster. That's my top 5. You go ahead.
Justin, I don't hate Spears. Okay. I just don't like the landing
he's yanking
spot.
your chain.
Okay. I know. I don't like the landing spot. I don't like the capital. If he would have went in the second, I think that it would have changed my outlook on it. I think he would have automatically got more as a guy lined up to get more work, right? I do agree with Jared. I do think that Henry's probably going to be gone by like midseason, week 6, week 7. And if there's an injury in camp, he's going to be gone before the season even starts. He can carry. I know the injury is going to get smoked and fluffed, right? Like you're not getting drafted with no ACLs, so there's somewhat of an ACL there, right? And I've seen him move around like a maniac the whole college football season. So I get it. There's not really a wide receiver out there besides Burks. I'm not sold on Burks right now, right? Because last year he didn't really do anything. Jimmy at the tight end position, he can be a dude. I think that Levis is probably going to start early because I don't know if Tannehill's even there coming week 1. And with Levis in there, I think he does need some work. That's my guy. Now you're looking at teams stacking the box, right? Now you're going to stack the box on a kid and rookie. And people, Hassan Haskins is probably going to get carries. Like he was there last year. It took him a little bit to catch on, but towards the latter end of the year, he started to eat. Him and Henry started to job well together. So if Henry's gone or whatever, maybe the start the year, Haskins is RB2. For the positional, I don't like the landing spot. If he landed in Miami, I would have him way up there with the A-chain. Like just because it was like perfect. Even in San Francisco, where they open up huge lanes for you where the contacts and the hit isn't as much. Miami, he's probably not going to get much. He could probably lay down after getting 25 yards, right? And he wouldn't have to worry about the contact. So that's my reason why I have him drop down. What do I have him? I have Tajay at
10.
10, okay? I just feel the other guys have more of an opportunity early to eat. So for my top 5, Bijan, Gibbs, Kenry Miller, because I have a funny feeling Kenry Miller is RB1 for the Saints earlier than you think. I think Kamara could be on the move just like Derrick Henry. I think it's all about who's willing to pay the price or who needs it more.
Who's willing to wait because he's going to get suspended.
Right. Or who needs him for the first 6. Like, say someone at Buffalo goes down. Like, then say Cook gets hurt, right? Off the rip. I think they're calling for Kamara because he just fits the scheme perfectly, right? He can catch the ball in the backfield. He can run in between the hashes. So I think Miller's going to get carries whether Kamara's there or not. I just can see Kenry Miller. He could be taking over that role. You and I had a conversation about Charbonnet in Seattle, okay?
Yeah.
The fact that Charbonnet got drafted and then they drafted McIntosh means that they're not fully sold on Kenneth Walker. You don't go get 2 running backs in the draft who are talked about coming out of the Senior Bowl, talked about coming out of the combine. Like McIntosh, we all talked about as a guy who can catch the ball, right? He's a pass catcher, right? Charbonnet is his all-around back. A year ago, we thought of him as being in the top 5, not even maybe even top 3. So you fell in love with Charbonnet. You love his pass catching ability.
Yeah.
I think in that offense with Geno, right? They went and get the wide receivers are going to spread the field. Like if you go in a 2-back set, and they're coming out the backfield catching the ball. Who you throwing? Kenneth Walker, who has a total of 22 receptions in college in 4 years, right? Between Wake Forest and Michigan State. Are you throwing it to a dude in Zach Charbonnet who averaged 45 or more like targets, probably 30 receptions every year? A big body guy who could take way more hits and get more yak. So I think Charbonnet is going to eat. I think Charbonnet is going to be a receiving threat, a serious receiving threat in that offense right out the gate. So that's why I have him at 4. A-Chain, you hit it on the head. Now, the one secret guy I got, because it's coming down the pipeline, well, because I don't think people are talking about him. I've been listening.
I love secrets. Film it.
Right? He's that sleeper.
Jared just went closer to the screen.
That dark horse, his phone just fell on him. I knocked the phone off the wall with it. It's Chase Brown, okay? Because I don't think Joey Mixon is going to be there. With all the stuff that's going to go down legally, he's involved in it, right? Then he's not involved in it. Now he's involved in it. Something's going to happen. He's got a history with being a problem. I think before the problem thing came out, I think Cincinnati was kind of already at the end of their wanting him to be around. I think P. Ryan's gone, right? So there's really Chris Evans is the only guy there, and he couldn't steal it from P. Ryan, who's an old man, right? So you're looking at a guy primed. You're looking at a chiseled physique. Go in there and steal carries on 3rd down, steal carries at the goal line early. And if, for God forsake it, they flip Mixon early, or they just say, you know what, Joey, we're going to go 50-50 here because this is your last year. And we're going to see what we got. Chase Brown is fantasy relevant. So he's at 6 for me.
I like that. And we both got Roshan at 7. He'll be interesting because Khalil Herbert's been a little banged up, and
they're not their guy. That's
Montgomery.
Not their guy.
Yeah, so he'll be interesting. So you're saying Herbert is their guy.
Because Chicago's under a new regime.
Right.
Last year I was big on Herbert because the people there brought him in. They liked him more than Montgomery.
Right.
I'm not sold right now because there's different personnel in there, and he's not the dude right now.
Roshan's got a high floor, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I think where you're taking him, I think and then I got Tank at 9, and you have him at 11.
It's crowded.
Hasty
came back with a bag.
ETN has the injury history as well.
They gave Jermichael Hasty a bag for a dude.
But who's he more like, Tank or ETN?
Tank is obviously a tank. That's why he got his name, right?
But I meant like if you were
he's ETN. He's more of an ETN.
So I think they have that. He's going to get some red zone touches. He's probably going to be the goal line guy. So he's going to steal some carries.
He will.
He's somebody I'm going to watch.
Snoop's still there.
Yeah,
right.
So I'm going to watch him. I don't have him high. I'm going to watch him.
And that's fine. I'm with you. I have Izzy a little bit higher because they went out and got Izzy.
Upset with the Jets for taking him.
Breece Hall. I don't know if he's going to be back. I don't know. I know he's moving around. I don't know how healthy he's going to be week 1, right? You got an injury to a running back.
I will apologize to the fantasy football gods. And that's mean because that means I'm hoping for Breece Hall to be hurt. And I don't hope that. But if Izzy gets a chance to be an RB1, I will apologize. I'll repent.
I don't think he's there to so I think he was an insurance policy pick, right? Because Michael Carter's is the receiver. He's a switch up, change of pace. I think Izzy can play that Breece Hall role, right? They both receivers. So I think Izzy could be an early season, let Hall get back in the groove, right? And then if he looks good, Now you're just rolling 50-50, and you let Michael Carter come in and take the passing catches, and you got to depth that backfield, and all three of them guys.
Look how Zonovan Knight did
exactly
in that offense last year. If Izzy gets touches, Boomer, you look like what are your thoughts, my guy?
So while we were talking, beat writer about Seattle and Charbonnet just came out, right? Pete Carroll says Charbonnet is so versatile. He will fit in just as a great addition here. We're going to find out how far he can go in terms of receiving part of it. We know he's really good at it.
Right.
But so is Kenneth. So those guys will be battling.
Smoke.
Listen, so
you're really good at something that you didn't do in college for 4 years.
When they brought in Penny.
All I take is they're going to be battling, as in my man Charbonnet going to get every chance possible
RB1
to play.
When I was high on, like, I still got him in my top 6.
No.
So, but the reason I'm lower on him is I said he's good at everything. I don't think he's elite at anything, and being good at everything and then having another running back I think he's really good in between the tackles. I think he might have a higher ceiling Walker in between the tackles than Charbonnet does, but Charbonnet has a higher floor as an all-around back. But it's probably going to be 60-40, but we saw I think Charbonnet's much better than DJ Dallas. But when they brought in Penny with a higher draft stock, they still incorporated. The Seahawks are weird, man.
They wouldn't have drafted Kenneth Walker if Penny could stay healthy.
Here's the thing.
I don't know.
All I see right now, you know how much Pete Carroll loved Carson before the neck injury?
Yeah.
Is he not a bigger, faster version?
Yeah.
I don't know. Chris Carson was a hammer.
That's what
No. Okay, listen, I understand Chris Carson, right? Oklahoma State. Glad he left, right?
Right.
Charbonnet is a clone.
Right.
Yeah, banger. He's a banger, bro.
That's it. I'm telling you, he was like, wow, we got a healthy Chris Carson again. Let's go get this guy.
And
that's exactly what happened.
With the Rams, with the 49ers, right? Like, bro, you need a bruiser. If you want Kenneth Walker to sustain 16, 17 games and you guys be in it, maybe the possibility to make the playoffs, Charbonnet has to be eaten, dude.
They're going to rotate him. I mean, the Hawks,
100%.
That's what they do. So,
hey, a guy that's 60-40,
they'll ride the hot hand. And they'll ride the hot hand.
Hey, you're telling me a guy can be 60-40 in rotation, even if he's on the 40 side of it, but he's getting 25% chance of being receptions. He's out there in the slot or coming out. Bro, I'm taking shot. That's fantasy.
He should go no further than, he's a first round. He's probably a top 14 selection, given if you're in super flex, So
one quarterback league, he's first round.
Right. But I think there's a trend. In my rankings, I'm tend to go for ceiling. And Spears has that, he could take it. He could take it all the way.
I get it. I'm a Spears guy. I just, like I said, the landing spot for me was
the way
you told me in Miami.
Is how I flipped on Izzy. I have Izzy I was beating the drum. I have him at 11. And that's almost because I'm heartbroken that he doesn't get a chance to be an RB1. But we're already at 43 minutes.
Let's go to wide receivers again.
So you go first. Just go top 5. I'll go top 5. Everybody can go. I mean, go as far as you want. But
I'll
if you
go
want to hear the rest of them,
one guy.
Toiletstotitles.com is where you can find the rest of this stuff.
That's right. All right. So I got JSN at 1 at Seattle. I think this kid's going to eat early and often. 2 has been my guy. I beat this drum all year. I got shot down. I said he's going to be. I agree with the Quentin. He's going to be what everything Quentin Johnson was, is your guy in Rasheed Rice. And then he landed in Patty Mahomes' lap, like Christmas gift, nice and shiny with a big fat bow on it, and says, I'm your dude. Give me the rock. Let me eat. This dude is going to be all over the place, literally all over the place, in between the hashes. He's a 50-50 guy. He can fight for the ball. Patrick Mahomes just literally got given. Yeah, he's like, what, dude?
He's everything they wanted Juju Smith-Schuster to be.
And more. And with a slight Tyreek Hill, because you got that dog mentality.
Yeah, everything that intermediate,
he's going to eat. Dude.
Mahomes is scrambling, and we need somebody to break off their route and attack the football.
Yeah, Mahomes called him right away, by the way. Right away.
He jumps. I know he's
a Texas drafted. Guy, too. Mahomes, Texas Tech, Rasheed Rice, SMU.
Bro, listen, he jumps off the board. I know we got drafted way farther down than some of the guys I'm going to mention. Addison at 3. It was hard for me there because Addison at 3. But this kid's going to get one-on-one coverage against the second, possibly the third DB on your defense. Bro, you want to talk about a highlight package that he's going to be able to show next year? But wow, it's possible you could be seeing Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson type breakout early. Like his kid's going to be destroying people. JJ could get better coverage in the second half of the year because they're going to shift him because he's just going to keep eating. It's going to be like Adam Thielen for the first 2 or 3 years over there in that offense, just cutting across the middle, cutting in, cutting back out on one step wide open. It could be a 5-yard pass that turns into 40. So I think he's key. I'm not a big Q guy, but if you could hit the best landing spot available, I mean, he was like Scrooge McDuck. He dove off the diving board into the goal mine. You got Herbert with the big arm. Perfect for a big 6'3" receiver, right? Around big receivers, around veteran receivers. Keenan Allen's going to – I'm telling you right now, Keenan Allen's about to tighten up that route running tree for Q because he's got no choice, especially with Herbert because Herbert can throw it on a dime. So if you can run routes, you're going to eat. At 5, I got Zay. And the only reason why I have Zay lower down is because of what's there. I know you got a totally different OC. They're probably not going to be in that, that 11 personnel like crazy, 12 personnel like they've been this last 3 years. So it's going to switch up. They love Rashad Bateman. I don't give a crap what anybody says. That organization.
He could play too. Bateman's the dog.
He is. He hasn't really stayed healthy, right? There's the foot. He had an injury before that a little bit. I know he's locked in with Lamar, and that's his guy. But now you got him. You got OBJ over there. They paid OBJ a bag, right, with incentives. So he's going to get his targets. Andrews gets his targets in his sleep. That's 3 guys above him. JK's back, right? So it's like
and likely he's going to steal some of those underneath touches, those random check down. Who's the dude from East Carolina that just
Mitchell,
right? Mitchell went there as well. So it's like he's gassed to be there. He's a receiver. He's quick. He's a one cut and go guy. So there's a lot of mouths to feed. Zay's going to get his. He's dynamic.
He's a guy in best ball. Like if you could get Zay in best ball, because he's going to have weeks where he's going to
have AR weeks. Weeks. He's going to have weeks where he gets you 30, right? He'll go for 10 catches for $115 and 2 tutties, and then there'll be weeks where he gets 3 catches for 75 yards. If you're cool with 10 points, then by all means go get your guy. But that's where I got him. One guy that I got farther down the list, and I know a lot of people are going to tell me I'm a homer. I was not in on this guy all year. Jared, I was not in on this guy. KT will vouch for me. I was not in on this guy. I said in the green room, there were 2 spots where his stock bolstered up for me because of the leadership in that room, the coaching staff, and they just don't let that shit happen. It's Andy Reid in Kansas City, right, with the quarterback of Patrick Mahomes, and New England with Bill Belichick. Mac Jones is a crybaby, so I don't know how well that's going to work because the personalities. But Butte in New England, you tell me where there's a guy who's got more talent than he does on that team in the wide receiver core, right? Who just played in SEC ball, like this kid's got it. If he can get his head together and Belichick can get his head on straight, man, this kid could sky up the charts in the value, and you can get him late. One thing I'm going to throw out there, Sleeper's got tanked out as wide receiver 19. It's a huge mistake. It hasn't been corrected yet. So if we're doing rookie drafts,
wide receiver 19?
19, yes.
He's
supposed to be 9. He's 19 in the rookie. So when you're drafting by ADP, Tank Dell will not be in your list. Please change that for yourself because Tank Dell's going to eat.
That's a cheat code. I like that. So we're real close in our top 5. I got JSN. I got Rashid. I got Addison. I got Johnson. I think we're identical. So where we kind of differ is after the top 5. So you can go and check out our rankings after that. But with what you said about the draft capital for Rashee Rice, he was still a 2nd-round pick, 224. And I'm going to compare. I think that's right around where Terry McLaurin was drafted. Coming out of Ohio State, absolutely crushed the Senior Bowl. So I think Rashee Rice has a Terry McLaurin ceiling with a better quarterback.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm telling you, look at the career arc. And obviously SMU and Ohio State aren't the same thing, but similar draft capital, similar offseason of their senior year. And now he's got Patrick Mahomes, who's, he doesn't have to go up and get it. It's going to be put exactly where it needs to be. 2 guys that interest me after the top 5, obviously Michael Wilson, because in Arizona, what they're going to need with DeAndre Hopkins gone is a guy who's got a big catch radius, who could run those fades, who could run. You think he's staying?
He already reposted everything on Instagram. So
he put on an IG thing saying,
Okay,
everybody keeps telling me not to go. Who said I wanted to leave? I've been here working.
Yeah. He said he wanted to go, but I could spin it.
Yeah.
Michael Wilson learning from a guy like DeAndre Hopkins.
Right,
You want what he had, go do what he did. And then Charlie Jones, that's a guy you talked up all offseason, going with Joe Burrow, having those big physical wide receivers who can get deep, stretch the field. I think they're throwing the ball 40 to 50 times a game. He's going to fall into
he's another big guy.
6-7 targets, but he's a big guy, but he's like slick. He can,
but he can still play big. He's quick. He can play big, but Boyd's
not going to be their stretcher. He's going to be there like
that's where he takes Boyd's role.
Yeah,
so.
Boyd's gone, and Higgins hasn't got an extension yet, right? So like,
he's going to fall into 6 to 8 targets a game. Like I think his floor is going to be
big ones.
Yeah. So safeties are going to be gone. He's going to have single coverage all day, big catch windows.
You know who that takes away from me? I'm out on Irv Smith now. I'm out on Irv Smith because I think.
I've never been in on Irv Smith.
Well, with that offense, right? He could have been a Hayden Hurst, right? Eating over the middle, eating on them like little 15-yard outs, right? I think that's Charlie Sizzle's good. You get Charlie Sizzle on a 5-step comeback route. The DB is going to be about 3-6 yards behind him. He's going to be wide open on every play.
I forget one of the game films I watched of his. It was against like a top corner in the class. I got to go look back at my analysis and see. He had some good tough matchups.
They got Sizzle for a reason.
He battled, but I don't think we're gonna have time to touch on tight end because I want to give Boomer.
We got number one the same. Dalton Kincaid.
Dalton Kincaid.
Agreed.
Our top 3 are very similar. I got Kincaid, Musgrave, Mayer. You got Kincaid, Mayer, Musgrave. Then we got Laporta. You got Mallory. I got Schoonmaker. We got difference of opinion on there coming from him being at Michigan. Not really a lot of catches, but I'm just gonna, I looked at, compared to Jake Ferguson and Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz is gone. Jake Ferguson's a good player, but his RAS score last year, he was 326 out of 998 tight ends all time. And but
0, right? Wasn't like a 0.
Yeah, but he's also backing up whatever. So do with this what you want. Schoonmaker came in 9.86. He's ranked 16th out of 1105 tight ends all time. His separation percentage was in the 96th percentile. His yards per route run was in the 88th percentile. My thing is, yes, he blocked a lot. He didn't show an elite ability to catch the ball, but I think he wasn't given the opportunity to in that offense. And I think given the draft capital, if he wins, it's tight end 5. So in Dynasty, how often do you take a rookie who does anything after the top 2? So he's tight end 5, but if he gets the reps, the starting reps, Dak loves his tight ends, and you're going to see numbers. So I'm going to give you
real quick that. Before I get to boom on the tight ends. All right.
Rebut that.
My concern is we spoke, me and you had a heated discussion. Yeah. A friendly heated discussion. He's older, right? He's 20 something. He's 25. So tight ends usually take 2 to 3 years to break out. You want a 27 to 28-year-old tight end to break out?
Or my argument to that is, wait, hold on. What if he's at the breakout age? Like he comes in, he breaks out right away.
I don't think the age has anything to do with the breakout, right? I think it has to be in the NFL. I think it's the NFL speed, the NFL playbook, being asked to stay home and block, being asked to be able to roll out, schemed up. I think that plays more of a factor in it. I think he's the most athletic tight end on there. But in a team in Michigan that ran the ball and play action, he didn't eat.
He didn't get the opportunity.
They play action, and he wasn't the dude.
Was there? I don't know. Who's the quarterback?
That's my thing. It was JJ McCarthy who they were there to air out the ball, and when they didn't air out the ball, it was Cade McNamara, who you thought he would have been a safety blanket, and he wasn't. I got Mallory at 5 for the simple fact I don't trust any single tight end in at the Colts. I know that they have 2 enormous guys, but I don't think like Mo Alley Cox and Weidemeyer from last year is their backup tight end. He was a big fella, 6'4", 6'5". That's the guy from Alabama.
There's another guy.
Yeah. So I don't trust them. Will Mallory is super athletic. Like, he's a freak when it comes to athleticism. If you're starting AR, Mallory is a guy over the Jelani Woods. That's the other guy. I'm not in on him either. If you're starting AR, you want the most athletic guys on the field, right? I think Mallory's that dude. I think Mallory can have can creep up these ranks if AI is going to be the dude. If you're going to have Mr. Jorts and Gardner Minshew be the dude, I'm probably staying away from Mallory. I think Pittman and guys like that are going to eat more.
All
so
right.
that's my tight end thing. Jared.
All right. Boom. IDP. Everyone's been waiting the whole episode, 55 minutes for a sneak peek at your way too early IDP master rankings.
All right. So it's changed a little bit. I added a bonus guy, Trenton Simpson. Has got to be my number 11. Basically, as soon as they told Queen he wasn't getting his 5th year, forget your couch, buddy. So
forget your couch.
They love Trenton Simpson. I told Nino at the combine, I fell in love with this guy. Just huge fan. Obviously, like I'm military, his dad's military, so big fan. I think it's a really phenomenal landing spot next to Roquan. He gonna eat. He gonna do him. Here's one that I actually mock draft in our mock draft. Felix and Duke Uzama. I had him mocked to Kansas City because it's an absolute perfect spot. Across from Karlaftis, they need the guy. They need the help. I'm pretty sure I said Rice would be their other guy in the round 2. Me and Nino talked about that. So I went 2 for 2 with Kansas City in our mock.
You gotta check them out. Toiletstotitles.com under mock drafts. You listeners should go check those out.
Is there a chance that he could go in and out, Uzama? And now because it's only Jones, right? Clock's gone, so there's a void. Could he go in and out? Could he play that role?
Yes. I mean, he's got the motor for it. I mean, again, his comp was Max Crosby, and he thinks he's Max Crosby. So
Max can
if you have that type of motor and if you're willing to say that,
let's go.
You better get it. So it was crazy because that was my comp, when we were doing our defensive ends, and then he says it at the combine to me. I'm like, I'm good. I felt so good about it, to be honest with you. So watch out. He's one of my favorite defensive linemen in the group. I love his motor. Brian Branch to Detroit. They're just riddled. Sorry, disappeared for a second. Brian Branch going to Detroit, really great spot for him. Just love the spot in general. I just don't know who their safety is going to be every year. And you don't go get him unless you think that he's the guy, because he's a lot of people's number 1 safety on the board. So
glad
love the
Philly
spot.
didn't get him. Philly could have had him. I would have been more upset with Philly taking him at 30 than them taking Nolan Smith at 30. It would have ripped me up.
Completely agree. Me, massive Will McDonald guy. I think that he absolutely destroyed the Senior Bowl. I mean, Darnell Wright, or everybody that was at the Senior Bowl that looked good, he embarrassed. So
except for Schmitz. Schmitz was the only one that didn't get embarrassed.
That's because he didn't play in the middle, so you didn't have to see him. Schmitz the dog, one of the steals of the draft, by the way. Sidney Brown. Another phenomenal spot. Talk about it. You're worried about the safety position. They went and got him quick. They were excited about him. He's excited. You could see he's like, okay, that's my spot. Yep, and I think it's one of the best IDP safety spots. He's this year's Brisker, by the way.
I go to school. I had class today down in South Jersey. A lot of Eagles fans asking me because they know we're out here. We do this stuff. What do you think about Sidney Brown? I was like, bro, he is an alpha.
Greek God.
He is an absolute alpha. He's gonna come in there they're like, oh, maybe he'll come in and he'll start he's gonna start day 1. He's gonna come in there's a where were the Eagles in trouble on defense last year? Their slot and their strong box safety.
They were old vets, dude. Old vets.
This kid is spry. He's an alpha.
Hammer.
Yeah, so
he'll put you in your ear hole quick if you ain't paying attention.
I'm not kidding you. He's so beastly. I want to move him higher, but
did you see the video?
I just got too much love in front of him. So
when his brother
I love Sidney Brown. I might be the only person that's Sidney Brown in my top 6, by the way. So there's that.
And it's possible, but did you see the video when they got drafted? But bro, the motivation in Rise Kid, he was holding back tears. His brother was there with them, mom's the one. You could tell that everything spins around through mom. She's the motor. Yep. She's the motor. And those kids are prime. How cool would it be if they played each other this year? I don't know if they're scheduled to, but if they play each other in the Super Bowl, like the Bengals, Eagles, and he hits him with a pop, he comes up the gun, brown on brown crime.
Yeah, I love both their landing spots. I'm with you 100%.
Shout out to Rachel Brown. the mother of the Brown twins.
Oh, yeah.
Big supporter.
One of my favorite picks in the draft is Dorian Williams. I mean, with Edmonds leaving, going to Chicago, you want to talk about a perfect landing spot. He covers well. He hits he had the hardest hit in the Senior Bowl. Like, we were like, people just turned. You saw the entire group of people that we were with, like, who just did that? And like, it was Dorian. And me and Nino were like, that's our guy, right? So he's got wheels. He covers well. He hits well. He fills the gap. He's a dude. Absolute guy. I mean, what do you have? 18 tackles or something like that in the Cotton Bowl is ridiculous.
And Tremaine's gone.
Yeah, Tremaine's going to Chicago.
Milano's like their pass rusher covering.
Yeah. I'm telling you,
he's an all-pro, but there is a spot next to him that is ready. Like, he's going to step in. I love it too, man. I'm
telling you, Dorian Williams, phenomenal landing spot.
He jumped over guys like Pace Jr., right? He jumped over Henley. Like, he got drafted higher than those in consensus. Like, we were big on those guys as well.
Yeah.
And
I like Henley's spot too.
Right,
They had Chargers.
They had him all ahead of them. So it's like the NFL saw something. I got a question for Jared on these next two guys. Just a simple question. That's all. Go ahead.
Okay.
Simple.
Drew Sanders. We've been looking for a linebacker one, right? We got one, all right, at Denver. It's Drew Sanders. Ain't even close. Like, perfect for him. Tyree Wilson, Las Vegas. Bro. You imagine have to worry about Crosby and Wilson? Like, it's an absolute terror, to be honest with you. If they had a stud linebacker, it'd be over. But you only got to worry about those two guys right now. Jalen Carter to Philly. Listen, the Philly Dogs.
Sorry,
it was a perfect spot. We talked about Hargrove had honestly just phenomenal last 2 years at Philly. It's the perfect landing spot for him.
Yeah.
He ain't got to worry about it, and they built camaraderie around him. Like, listen, you're going to stay clean because we got all your boys here with you. So don't mess this up.
He's got Jalen Hurts leading. Like, that dude.
Dude, you got Jordan Davis on the side of you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's
how? They're going to double Davis. They have to.
They got Dean behind him.
Yeah.
Smith next to him, Ringo in the backfield. It's man.
They just brought in Swift. It's Georgia 2.0, bro.
I mean, and Sidney in the back. I mean, we already talked about it. Like, an absolute bonkers group, for Philly. You want to talk about real Dallas fans hated that draft. Just let's be honest.
Slay's not there, right? Is Slay there?
He's still there. Slay and Bradbury.
Oh my Lord!
Yep, they re-signed him. Yep.
Hey, yeah, because he was going to leave, right? He was going to bounce.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's another guy who said, I didn't want to leave after he said he wanted out.
So here's so I got Will Anderson Jr. as one, and this again way too early. But here's the reason: he's got the best defensive coach in the entire league.
Yeah.
So I mean, if it wasn't for D'Amico, we're probably different. But you don't go get this guy and spend what you spend unless you know he's going to be the anchor of your defense. Right? He's what Mario Williams was supposed to be. That's their goal. I mean, 100%. That's what they want. That's what he's going to be. He's their guy.
Right? Mario Williams flashed for like 3 seasons, right? Early, and then he just fell off. Literally hit the wall and was gone, bro.
Weird.
Felicia. And
so my question to you, Boom, right? And this kind of is a conversation me and Coach have had, back and forth. I'm a huge Simpson guy. I think Simpson's gonna be in that top 3, possibly top 2 LB category at the end of this year and to go forward with this rookie class. Coach is big on Sanders. The landing spot with Sanders and Campbell, they both paid their guys that are LB1s now this year. And they didn't give them like a discount, bro. Anzalone got paid. Singleton got paid. Are they automatically not LB1s anymore?
Are they Jags, Boomer?
Are they Jags?
Yeah.
Jags with a bag? Like just a regular
Is
guy with a
Anzalone a
bag?
Jag? He's thinking about it. I think Singleton's better, but I kind of think Anzalone is like
Singleton's more consistent, but it's both their numbers are blown up for one reason.
They had nobody else, and they were on the field a lot.
Oh, exactly. They do not leave the field. So you know what? We haven't hit. There's not a whole lot of people we can go get. Everybody else paid the free agents.
They got Josie Jewell there too, so it's Josie, Singleton, and Sanders. Like that was my thing. Like if Sanders landed somewhere else, I'd be like, oh man, it's week 1.
But that's the thing is, he's the only one that you could trust.
You
I
don't
mean, when
trust
he's in the,
him?
I mean, let's hear. He went to Arkansas
tells, right?
and embarrassed everybody at Arkansas. So, and Arkansas had pretty decent guys right next to him that they were talking about. Hey, these guys are gonna be LB1s, and he brought them in, and they're like, "Listen, you guys don't even belong in the SEC, and this is where I'm at." So there's a reason why I was the #1 linebacker in football coming out of high school, and nothing's changed with Drew Sanders. And we talk, it's Anzalone and Singleton, this and that. Neither one of those guys touch Campbell or Sanders. If I were to put them in the same room at the same age, go pack your bags, homie, because there's no way they're better than both those guys. And
do you trust the defensive coordinator though at Detroit? Because bro, when they had guys that were doing well, like they was trying to, Malcolm Rodriguez couldn't get on the field, and he needed to be on the field, right? They couldn't.
Well, see, and that's the thing is they were so worried about injured, when they're rotating. That's what they're worried about with Malcolm, because he's not a big guy. He's just a little dude.
He plays like a.
He plays like a big guy, but that's the problem. When you're getting injured in practice because you're throwing your body around like you're a wrestling dummy. I mean, there's nothing you can do. Jack Campbell is an absolute. He's Brian Urlacher. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Hey, don't look at it as no. Just listen to me real quick. So he's got interceptions, so we can't just say no pass coverage. There's interceptions, right?
Yeah.
He's a monster in the middle, and he's probably the smartest general of this class. He can lead a defense. That's what I want. That's why I say he's Urlacher. He can run the defense.
Hey, what Big Ten tight ends were good at Jack Campbell's 4 years at high school that weren't on his team? I mean, at college, that weren't on his team, bro.
Schoonmaker.
Bro, hey, he has interceptions. I get it. They were all short interceptions and coverage on covering a tight end or a running back. You get a guy like Kelsey. You get these like Pitts, bro. Pitts,
but you got to play that. He's the middle.
Right. Well, that's the thing. That was the reason why he didn't get drafted as LB1, right? It's because
let's be honest. Is there any tight end in that division you're really worried about?
Was he LB1? I thought.
Yeah, he was picked.
Besides Hawkinson?
Where did he go? What pick was he?
He was pick 18. He was the first linebacker off the board.
All right, yeah. All right. I don't know. I just
and they went and got him. So you don't go get that guy unless you think he's going to be your LB1. It's just like Quay Walker. Like I like his upside more than Quay Walker. Just so we're clear.
Whoa. Quay Walker's a run-stopping linebacker in a division full of running backs. Like that was perfect for him.
Just pull their senior year stats and tell me you trust Quay Walker at Georgia over Campbell at Iowa. Just pull their stats up.
Big 12 SEC. I'm going to take the SEC guy.
You guys want a bathroom board?
It was Big 10. Hey, I'm going to tell you right now. I love Quay Walker. You know I love Quay Walker. But I am telling you, he didn't have a choice. By the way, I don't have Lucas Van Ness on my board for a reason.
It's not a linebacker's edge, isn't he?
As a player. You know what I mean? He was most overdrafted player. Listen, his hair's too good. I don't trust him.
Listen, but there's also with Simpson, there's just something about having that Raven on the side of his helmet coming in to play linebacker.
If Queen gets moved, if Queen gets moved before camp,
Roquan's got like injuries too. Like Roquan's got a history of like minor dings, and I don't know, man. I don't know.
He's cerebral.
It's all head stuff. But here's the thing. What if I told you that two linebackers that were best in their class are both being looked to be dealt to the Raiders?
Both. So Queen is one of them,
and White the other.
Who's my guy?
Your guy's Roquan. Obviously not trading him.
No, same class, by the way.
To give me
K9.
Oh, really? Kenneth Murray. So from the Chargers to the Raiders, that would be something.
They lost Perriman, so they don't have anybody in the middle.
I'm going to send you that Perriman card. You love that dude.
I like him too. Hey, from a fantasy point at Houston, I love Perriman. By the way, just so we're clear.
Hey, listen, he just said, listen, the Raiders defense and the defensive coordinators they don't put their guys in position to succeed, dude. You know what I mean?
I just don't know how you go from leading tackler to nobody.
Can we do this? Let's we got to wrap this up. All right, we're cutting a little long, but what I would like to do, and I know, so Nino, Boomer, you're the head-to-head crew. I'm sure you guys are going to be working on a rookie mock.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you're going to be doing an episode, but let's talk. Oh, so next week. All right. So how about this? You get your rookie mock done. You let me know if you need to guess, because I might know somebody you might be willing to come on, and then we will follow up within a few weeks and recap it on air. Talk about where the guys, and then. Probably by June, July, we start to have some mini camps. We get to see some training camp battles. We get some fits and some videos. Like there's going to be a lot of movement. So that's what makes this. It's a little bit of downtime, right? It says who that's the famous that's the famous Nino line. But it's draft season's over, and now we kind of wait for the mini camps and stuff. So we're gonna go right from draft season into training camp season, camp battle season, cuts season, veterans being moved, depth charts are going to be like, this is all fluid. We are going to keep this fluid with you. That's why when we do these rankings, we're going to be updating them like throughout the process, at least monthly. And then by the time we get to July, it might be bi-weekly. It might even be weekly. But regardless, if you want to stay tuned and you want to be in the know, first thing you should do is reach out to us. Well, follow us on Twitter at Toilets to Titles. Reach out to us, get in our Gilded chat, because you have 24/7 access to all of us. You have access to the mock drafts because we mock in minutes. That is what we do. We get those done. All right, so you can get in there, subscribe to the YouTube channel, throw us a 5-star review so you can get into the Frankenstein League, throw us some comments, some likes, and then comment and let me know whichever players we had too low, we had too high, so that when I find you in the chat, we can discuss it. There's even a DM option in Gilded. It's perfect. All right. It is perfect for you. It is perfect for the title tribe, and we need to see you in there. But regardless,
Coach, real quick before we bounce, how about a guy that everybody on this channel right now loved and probably won't even get talked about for about another year or two?
Who's that?
JL Skinner.
Ugh. Yeah.
The injury. Right, it dropped him in the draft. Landing spot wasn't the greatest either. So
I don't even know, where did he even go.
Shoot, hold on.
I was thinking Colts for some reason, but probably wrong.
He went
Colts or Denver.
To Denver Broncos.
Okay.
I mean, I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either, but I just don't know where it's going to be this year. I don't know. Next year, maybe relevancy.
Hey, that's the thing, is that might be a guy you get to grab late.
Where's Simmons?
Late.
Got what's Simmons got left? 2 years? 3 years?
Simmons on last year. This is his,
last year?
Yeah. This is the last contract.
He's not the only Simmons who's on his last year. Isaiah Simmons down there in Arizona.
He's the guy that could go to.
He didn't get it. He didn't get his fifth year. Took so.
I have said this. I think they just not use Simmons correctly in Arizona.
He should be a nickel.
He's too good of an athlete. Mm-hmm. Way too good.
Dan Quinn will know how to use him.
There you go.
Right. And that might be Dan Quinn move when he leaves Dallas and goes, he's going to get, if we got him 2 years in a row, like we're not going to get him 3 years. If he don't get the head coaching job, Dan Quinn's out. And then he's going to want to bring in his own hyper athletic athlete. And there's a chance Isaiah Simmons is on the block or rather a free agent.
Don't let him come to Billy. Bill Belichick that's a guy Bill Belichick loved. Like that's Jabril Peppers. That's Kyle Duggar. Right?
Zadarius. Remember who was the dude?
Darius Smith.
Dude, who was the linebacker that they dropped and he played defensive back? They had to do.
Hey, after the Browns absolutely stink it up this year, is Quinn the new head coach?
Ooh.
If he's not the head coach, he's either going to be the head coach of the Cowboys or he's going to be somewhere else.
You don't think they give him another year because this is going to be his first actual year with Watson?
Hey, you know what? If they don't go to the playoffs and do something, then Baker says, what was my problem?
It's always 6 degrees of separation of Baker Mayfield.
Let's leave it at that. We wrap it up. This has officially been a Toilets to Titles episode with Jared Gray, because we have now finished it with the Boomer discussion. Everybody, like I said before, lock in this offseason. We got you covered. I know Thursday night we're going to be on the clock with KTR guy, CFP Nation. We're going to be recapping the NFL draft. We're going to be talking winners and losers. Jared, when's the next time everybody's going to be seeing you?
Actually, Friday night, I'm going to be on live with somebody else that I met at the draft. They asked me, hey, can you come on for, a quick show? It'll be 15 minutes or an hour. Just let me know. It's the Philly Philadelphia Eagle guys. They're the beat writers for them. So they asked me while I was there. So that just happened, like literally just while we're doing this. So I'm going to do that on Friday. We're also going P2P, me and Nino, every week, and then head-to-head next week with our mock draft. So
with some big names.
With some big names next week. So
Kai Bell, we got some big fellas in there.
Bellfield's a dude. Nino, what do you got next? I know you probably got
nothing, man. I'm going to take a hibernation siesta.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, I got
say what?
Yeah,
I got CFB Prime. I got another episode of that this week.
That's going to be a banger, by the way.
I dropped one this afternoon. It came out talking about Colorado, talking about what in the hell happened to Michigan State at the end of the portal. And it has Dylan Raiola finally stepped into the consensus QB1 and started to pull away after practicing with Mahomes and, having that connection with Matt Stafford because his dad was a center over in Detroit. So that's why I just dropped. I'm going to be talking about some Heisman stuff. I'm going to be talking about this ridiculous college football playoff championship game moved to a Monday. What in God's name is going on with this crap in 2024 and 2025? Like, this is ridiculous.
I hate late important games.
That's stupid. It's stupid. It's college too. Like, come on.
Hey, let's shout out to Jay Crane. I'm with him. Let's do it on Friday night. Let's do it on Friday.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what's going on here?
I could be absolutely hammered watching this game right now. I mean,
this is crazy. So I got that. I got B2P with Jared. We're not going to tell you what school we're going to break down. We're going to break down a good one. I'll just say that he's a coach that everybody likes to throw shots at. So we'll just leave it at that. That'll be the school we're talking about. And then, me and Coach got a lot of things lined up. We just don't know about it. We just kept popping them out. But stay tuned on the CFB Nation because me and Dino got a show popping out next week. Debbie Dollins. We're going to be highlighting these freshmen and sophomore kids that they're creating a little buzz that you need to have if you play college football.
Awesome. All right, with that, I'm going to wrap it up. We will see you all next week or on our other shows, whatever else we're doing. Stay tuned to Toilet to Titles, the T2T Network, CFB Nation. We got you covered the entire offseason and in season. Take care.